Welcome to the podcast. Today we are talking about the subtle energies and why they matter and how it can completely save you from having to learn the lessons that you've already learned over and over again. So there's been something that has recently transpired in my life, an ending. And through this ending, I realized so many things. And I had my friend, Jared, come over the other day. You guys will see him in the podcast. And so anyways, he says to me, these things are happening so that we can notice the subtle energies. And so what I'm talking about here is, let's say that you've been through an experience. And let's say that you've been through an experience. I'm going to give you mine, but you relate this to how you want to relate it to your life. Let's say that you've had to deal with an extreme narcissist in your life. So you've dealt with it, you've done it, you know what that feels like, right? To be in their energy, to be around that person, and you also know how you feel when you're in that energy and you're around that person. So it's not just picking up on their energies, but you know how you feel when you're around those. So what happens? We end a relationship with a narcissist, and then we go on in our life and we think, oh, excellent, I'm so glad I learned all these lessons, and I'm never going to have to do this again. And then what happens? Maybe it's presented to us in another form. Maybe it's presented to you, last time it was a female, this time it's a male, vice versa, something along these lines. And so we're not looking for it, right? We're not quite prepared for this same energy. And we're certainly not expecting that it's going to come to us again, because we healed this thing. We're so strong that we left, right? So then what happens when we then enter a new agreement, relationship, something with somebody, and somebody comes into our life, and we notice these little things? Well, what did we do last time? Last time we saw them, but we talked ourselves out of it, right? Because we don't want to feel that way. We don't want to think that, oh, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. Maybe I'm making this up. Maybe I'm the crazy person. Maybe, whatever it is that we tell ourselves. And so the thing about this is, we've told ourselves we're never going to do this ever again, man. But then when it presents itself again, we do it again. Why? Because we didn't learn the lessons last time, and the only reason why we're doing it again is because we ignore those subtle energies that tell us every single thing that it is that we need to know. So what's happened? You've left this relationship, now you're presented with another person in your life who is presenting in this way, but it's very subvert, right? When you very first met your previous narcissist, were they like that all the time? Heck no, or you wouldn't have stayed, you wouldn't have been there, but there was a cycle that came through, and you got really used to it, and you got really comfortable with it, and sure, it was very uncomfortable, but you got comfortable with being uncomfortable, with walking on eggshells, with hiding who it was that you were, so that you didn't create any more conflict. Keep in mind, it wasn't you creating conflict, but this was coming at you, and you're like, okay, I'm on defense, so I'm going to do these few things, and I'm not going to do that because this keeps things calmer, and it makes me feel more safe. And so we very soon realize, we've done it again. We've done it again. Why am I feeling the same way again? And then we find ourselves stuck in a pattern that is totally representative of the past, and we think, how did this happen? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's because when it very first presented, first of all, you weren't expecting it to happen again. So you weren't like, waiting for something to happen. And so then when you saw that very first sign, you were like, cool, but this will be different, and this isn't this, and this isn't as bad as what, I'm sensing here at this exact second. This is going to pass. And then it did, right? Because that's what happens. It was like an incident happened, and they failed the interview, but we didn't tell them that. And so we allow these people to stay in our life, and then they keep failing the interview, and yet we keep letting them stay. Yeah, and why are we doing this? We do this because we talk ourselves out of things that we know, because we're ignoring those subtle energies that will tell you everything that it is that you need to know. So let's say that you are meeting a person for the first time, and you get this weird vibe, right? You get this feeling that's like, oh, so familiar. You're not quite sure. Maybe a few things are said in a conversation that kind of like set some warning bells off, but we ignore it. We think, what do I know? I just met this person. What do I know? You know everything, man. The energy that you're picking up on is not going to lie, right? People can lie to us. People can lie to us all day long, but the energy cannot lie. And so when you feel this familiar energy coming at you, believe it. It is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to say, hey, you remember how this felt last time? Do you really want to do that again? You sure you want to do that again? Okay, cool, man. Like, I'm in for it. Let's do the ride again. But when we can understand, no, this is actually my warning bells going off, it can be very helpful. So I was at a Grant Cardone workshop, I don't know, conference a couple weeks ago in Phoenix. And you know, it's not spiritual. I was like, what am I even doing here? It really didn't have much to do with my life, but I did actually gain some things out of it. And so one of the things that I'm going to tell you guys, that they said, you know, when they were talking about the interview process and how you would set aside 30 minutes for an interview. And so when somebody comes for the interview, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to ask them 3 questions. And so based on the answer of those 3 questions, you know, then you determine, you know, what comes next in the interview. Now they said, you know, these are the 3 questions. This is what's really important. And if in those 3 questions you do not get the answer that you are looking for, consider this them having failed the interview, and you do not need to extend yourself and give 25 more minutes of your time to something that you know is not going to work out and is energetically not aligned and is going to be a failure. You don't need to do this. You can end that, and then now you got 25 minutes to yourself. And I was like, cool. Because how many times do people fail the interview, and yet we ignore that this has happened, and we give them not only the rest of the interview time, but we call them back for a second one and a third one, and until they've proven to us, okay, man, like I can't take this for one more second, we allow it. And so when they were talking about this interview process, and you know, like your time is really valuable, and you know, if it's not going to pan out, you're wasting your time, but you're also wasting their time. You know, what are they trying to prove to you when they've already shown you what it is that you need to know? So this would be what I would say is a gift that we can all harness, because I guarantee you that if you were dealing with somebody in the past and, you know, these things eventually came out and were a shock and a surprise to you, that they actually were not a shock and they were actually not a surprise to you. Yeah, maybe they shocked your system because, wow, it really happened, but you knew. You knew. There was these subtle energies that were there that were like, that's odd. Oh, I don't know about this. Ooh, that doesn't feel quite right. Oh, something's off about this. But what happened? You didn't, you know, value your own energetic reading and talk yourself out of something that you were feeling because you were in a state of, but I'm comfortable here. And if my hunches are correct, this means I need to make a change, and this means I actually have to do something about it. And we don't like to have to do that, right? Do you want to have to take action in certain situations when you could just not take action and remain comfortable? We always choose, our mind does, the easy path, which is usually doing nothing about it and just allowing whatever's happening to happen. But what happens is this comes back to bite us in the butt, because we're not serving anybody, and we're certainly not serving the other person by allowing them to treat us in this way. They're not learning anything. They're not doing anything other than benefiting from the free energy that we are giving them while they, you know, treat us in a certain way. And so when we can recognize these subtle energies, this is a way that Spirit says to us, hey, you've been here before. Do you want to do this again? And when we can tune into those very subtle energies, it can be extremely helpful. Because do you want to get into a career, into a job, into a relationship with somebody where everything is totally aligned? Or do you want to get into one where things are maybe, you know, 70, 80% aligned? What long term is going to be good for the both of you? Because I guarantee if that person who is coming to your life, let's say that they're offering you a job, they're not quite an energetic match, then it ain't the thing, man. It ain't the thing. That's not the thing for you, and that means that it's also not the thing for them. So release them and let them go so that they can go and find their 100% match, and you can go and find your 100% match. Because it's going to bring a whole lot more happiness and contentment into your life when you're matching the energy, when you're on the same vibe. Now, how does this relate to the Christ letters? Well, I got to tell you, when we're expecting negative things to happen, they'll happen, right? This is why you don't do that, right? You're not expecting, you're not looking out for these things to happen. You're not thinking, oh, the next person I meet is probably also going to be a narcissist, and I'm going to never. You don't think these things, right? But what happens When we remain unaware of the energies that are present within us, and we're not really leaning into them and seeing what it is that they have to say for us, then we can get off the place that we're meant to be. Because I'm telling you this, the divine guides you moment by moment, like second by second. So it's not going to tell you what you need to do in, 3 months from now, or this or that. There might be inklings, there might be clues along these lines, but it's going to be, what do you do right now? And so if the energy that you are experiencing in the right now is not optimal, this is the divine talking to you and telling you things, right? Because you have a purpose and you have a path. And in order to fulfill that purpose, and in order to be on the right path, there's probably, more than likely, other people that are going to be involved in whatever it is that you're doing. So there's going to be people that are going to help you in some way. There's going to be people that do this or that do that. But there's going to be other energies that are involved in your purpose and path. And the way that you're going to find those is by following what feels good, by following the happiness, by following those subtle energies that are telling you, this is the way. This is the way, this is the way. And so when you tune into the subtle energies that's like, ooh, this is old and familiar. No, we don't want any old and familiar. No, because we're moving forward into the future. We're going towards what it is that we do want, not back towards what it is that we don't want. Not back towards the things that we've released and the things that we've let go of because they were just not in alignment with us. No, we're going forward into the things that are perfectly in alignment with us. Because I'm telling you this, the things shouldn't be so difficult. And if they're difficult, there is a reason why. There is a reason why. There's like the easy flow. So let's say that you imagine your life as a river. Okay, well, what happens when you're going with the flow? Oh, things are great. But what happens when all of a sudden you run up against a dam? Well, it makes things completely turbulent. But here's the thing. There's no, all these dams are made, right? They didn't, the river wasn't born with a dam in it. No, it was created. And therefore, we do this to ourselves all the time, right? We dam up the flow of our river, but we do it by ignoring. And we do it by not listening. And when Spirit says, hey, go over here, but yet we go over in the opposite direction, this is us not listening. This is us adding wood to the dam. And so when we can tune in to these very subtle energies, they're a blessing. They're the lesson. They're here to help you. When we can tune into these and we meet someone, and all of a sudden we get this feeling inside our body, or they say something that we're like, ooh, what's up with this? And we're not taking this as judgment, because we're not judging things. But what it is that we're doing is we are discerning. We are tuning into the energies and we're saying, that actually isn't in alignment with me. And because it's not in alignment with me, it's not the thing that is for me. Because everything carries a specific vibration. And so if that thing that came into your life is really high vibration, you're going to be attracted to it. You're going to want it. You're going to want that thing. But if something's low vibration, or it feels off, meaning it's a low vibration, it's going to feel like not so great to us. And so when we notice that, well, what happens if you surround yourself with that kind of energy? Pretty soon that bleeds into your own energy. And then you're like, man, why am I so drained? Why do I feel this way? Whereas when we go with the high energy, which is probably what that other person, a narcissist would be doing to you, they're trying to take your energies away by, I'm going here with this high vibe. Well, what happens? So me and my daughter are playing singing bowls the other night, and I've got one, she's got one, and mine is a little bigger than hers. Hers is this tiny little one. And so I'm playing this, and what is happening as I am playing it is mine is actually overtaking her sound bowl. And so I was like, that's weird. It's like you can't even hear it, like what's going on. So then we switched because I wanted to see like what's going on here. Like this seems like there's something scientific and something vibrational that's happening. So we switch bowls. I play, the little one, and it's totally cool. Then she starts playing, and this, bigger sound, different, higher, more intense frequency comes, and it overtakes it. And my bowl stops playing. It won't even play anymore. Like no sound is coming out of it. I'm like, dude, what is happening? But what I'm understanding here is that this is a spiritual frequency, vibrational exercise that I am seeing right in front of my very eyes. That whatever is the most forceful, loudest, biggest, intense frequency is the one that's going to hold the space, and the other one is going to diminish. So what it is that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to align yourself with people that got the same frequency as you, so that when you're playing it, it's amplified rather than shut down. So that you're both playing the same chord, the same vibration, the same frequency, and it gets bigger with the two of you, because that's how it works, right? When there's two things playing the same thing, well, what happens is it's amplified, it's louder. But if one's playing this one and one's playing this one, then they aren't cohesive, and you will feel it, you'll hear it, you'll see it, you'll know it. Energetically, it'll be present. So I am not saying this so that we can start judging people and so that we can do anything along those lines. Absolutely not. We are only sending out pure love, but in this process of only sending out pure love, we also send this pure love to ourselves, and there are certain things that the self has attracted in the past, and it's because there was a certain resonance within us that allowed for this to come. But when you know that you've learned the lessons, then tuning into those subtle energies can make it so that you don't have to learn those same lessons again, so that you're not leaving the third narcissistic relationship and being like, I guess I only attract narcissists. Well, yeah, you do, because you believe it, because you're playing a certain vibration, because you allow people to steal your energy, and I guarantee that you knew it with every single one of them, but yet you allowed it, because you talked yourself out of it, because you made excuses, and it got to the point where you then couldn't take it anymore, and so you ended it, and you were like, nope, you've crossed the line, that's it, we're done. But then through not healing that, why that happened in the first time, why that happened in the first place, do you not speak up for yourself? When people don't like something that you're doing, do you just stop it even though that's like part of your core nature and who you are? And then do you just walk around on eggshells around people because you want to please people, you don't want to cause any conflict because you don't like any conflict, right? But what happens? You then have internal conflict. You have this thought of, okay, well, I guess they don't approve of who I am, so I'm going to have to, be who I am, but, not around them. And we make all of these excuses for other people's behavior, and the only thing that it does is cause us conflict, right? And we're like, oh, we don't like conflict, so we try to do things to avoid it, but we're not avoiding it. We're then living in it. It is then constantly within us, because we've had to dampen something about ourselves down to make ourselves acceptable to somebody else. Now, I say all of that to say this. When you tune into those subtle energies, they could literally save your life. They can change things for you. And when you notice this, or you notice old patterns, or you notice things that are coming up, and we always make these excuses, right? If we stopped making excuses and we said to ourselves, hey, thank you, self. You just caught a red flag there, and you've been down this road before. And if we were to look through the background of your life, anytime in the past when you ignored one of these red flags, it didn't turn out beneficial for you. So thank you for showing me this red flag. I'm going to honor it. I'm going to witness it, see it for what it is, accept it, and let it go. And by let it go, I mean let go of the situation, the job, the person, the relationship, whatever it is, so that we can make room for what is in alignment to come in. And then what has happened? You passed the test. You passed the interview. You passed. Oh, so they're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to stop sending it to them because now they're on this vibration. And then what changes is that you get those things that are in your new vibration rather than the old. But if the old has not been purged yet, if it is still hidden somewhere within you because the roots have not been healed, then these things will continue to present themselves to you to say, hey, do you want this again? Hey, do you want this again? Because if you accept it, you didn't learn the lesson last time, and therefore you actually need it again, because we come here to learn certain things. And until we've learned them, we're not ready to leave. We're not ready to exit. I mean, we might feel like we want to exit, but we came here with a purpose. And sometimes part of that purpose is to stand up for yourself. Sometimes part of that purpose is to set strong boundaries and be like, you know what, man, my energy is extremely valuable and you can't play with it anymore. And sometimes we come here and we got to fail people from the interview. And it's not because we don't love them. It's actually because we love them. and because we love ourselves, right? So if somebody comes for this interview and they fail miserably, that's not the thing they're supposed to be doing, right? And so if you were to take them on and you were to hire them, then you are holding them back from the thing that it is that's actually in alignment with them and what it is that they're actually supposed to be doing. And we think, oh, we're doing them a favor. Oh, we're giving them a job. They came for the job. They wanted the job. And so we gave it to them. But if it's not the right fit, we've done neither party a favor, right? I would suffer from hiring them because they're not going to do a good job. They would suffer because they probably don't even want to be there. It's not the thing. There's no passion. There's no whatever it is behind it. And it's not the thing. And by me giving them that, I have delayed them from being able to find what it is that they're actually passionate about. And so it really goes both ways. Same in any relationship, right? Sometimes we see somebody and we're like, oh, but they could use a friend, I could be there for them, I could whatever. Well, cool, man. But if you're noticing the red flags, or you're noticing any subtle energies, or you're noticing certain behaviors or certain things like, this is odd, this person, they seem so friendly, but yet they're really kind of mean. Okay, so if they're doing this to other people, that probably at some point, I'll be on that list as well. And when we can look at the patterns and we can look at these things and we go, you know what, man, I only want the best, and I know that the divine only wants the best for me, like 100% of the best. And so if that's not what I'm experiencing or witnessing or seeing in my life or in my relationships or in my job, it's probably not the thing that's meant for me. And so I'm going to have to let it go, because if I don't, I'll be holding on to that, and I only got so many hands, I can't grab something new. And in fact, that new thing is not even going to be presented to me. And if it was, well, how am I going to put all this stuff down and pick up that? I can't. So sometimes when we let things go, it changes things for us. I know for myself, just upon making an energetic decision of, okay, I'm done with this, and this is my decision, within hours, I had a phone call. I had someone saying, hey, I want to do this for you. You've been on my heart. And presented a beautiful opportunity to me, which is exactly in alignment with exactly what it is that I want. Just upon energetically deciding, I'm done with this, that was all it took. But had I not made that decision, because I had not made that decision up until the day that I made that decision, this opportunity didn't come to me until I had made the decision. Why? Because I actually didn't have the space for it. And so this is my message of encouragement. Notice the subtle energies. Is there something, someone, something that needs to be cut out? I know it can be very fearful, right? It can cause us to worry, like, okay, well, if I let that go, then what's next? Then what? But this is where faith comes in. This is where we trust. I'm trusting. Divine, you have shown me that this is not in alignment with me, because it doesn't feel good, and because it's draining my energy, and because it's just not flowing. It's just not, I'm not going down the river with flow and ease. I feel like I'm stuck in a dam. So thank you, Divine, for showing me that I'm stuck on a dam, and I'm going to let this thing go. And as soon as you let that thing go, well, then you've let the dam go. You got on the other side of it, and now things are going to start flowing. And so all those opportunities and all those things that you were like stuck up on the dam of, like, well, what if I let go of this and this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen? All of a sudden you have let go, and through your act of faith, all these things are just going to flow to you and flow into your life, just like the beautiful river of life that it is. But when we ignore these things, the only thing that happens is we hurt ourselves. And not only that, but we're stopping other people from going and, being with the people that they're supposed to do and doing the things that it is that they're supposed to do. And so we benefit both people. I know that sometimes we think that we're doing people favors by, placating them, or by offering them something that's not actually in alignment, and usually this comes from a place of, I feel sorry for this person, which is never an energy that you want to offer anybody or do anything for anybody ever for. No, you only want to come at this from a place of alignment and love. Otherwise, the energy of, poor them, is going to be woven into it and will continue to be woven into it, because that was the original energetic blueprint that was in that situation. And so what we want to do is only offer out love. And sometimes love means saying no and setting boundaries and being like, no, I'll wait for the next thing to come up that's more in alignment. And this can be a huge act of faith, especially when we're in survival mode of, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? I need this thing. This thing has to line up, blah, blah, blah. And we're under that stress. But trusting And knowing that the divine has got your back, and the divine has something so wonderful for you when you let go of that old baggage, when you let go of that old stuff, when you let go of that old someone, when you let go of that old something, or that career, or that job, or whatever it happens to be. Just knowing and trusting that the moment that you let it go, the energy shifts and sends a signal out into the universe that goes, oh, let's tell that person to call them now. Oh, let's put this person in their mind. Oh, let's do this. And it is really that quick. I experienced this myself, literally hours between making an energetic decision and feeling good about it, and just feeling like, man, I don't know why. I don't know what the shift was, because it literally came out of nowhere, but all of a sudden something shifted and it was like, oh, that's not the thing anymore. Okay, interesting, weird. Wow. Okay, I guess that's that. And then blammo, hey, I have this wonderful thing for you. So I know that this will be the case for you as well. And I know that this also, not only just being an act of faith, if you're still listening, it's because you know that there's something that you need to let go of, but there's been like worry and fear or doubt that's been around it. And so taking that doubt and that worry and that fear to the divine for contemplation, for meditation, and tuning in and saying, dude, I got this worry, I got this doubt, I got this fear. I know I've been feeling the energies, and when I even tune into it, I can feel my energy being sucked from my body. I know that I have to let this thing go. Divine, you tell me, and I know that it's true. You tell me that you know my wants, and that you know my needs, and that you will provide for me in every eventuality, in every circumstance. I will be provided for, and I trust you, and I believe this. Please help me to bravely let this thing go. And as I bravely let this thing go, please, I open up space for something new and wonderful, and bring in so much excitement for whatever that new and wonderful thing is that is shortly coming to you. And you will see that not only does this increase your faith, but it increases your vibration, because you let go of the thing that was not in alignment, that was pulling you and dragging you down and depleting your energies. Because I'm telling you, you and your own soul's frequency and your own vibration, man, you are high vibing. You are high vibe. And it is only sometimes when we have these excess energies that come into us that all of a sudden we get so used to them, we don't even realize. We don't even realize the effect and the toll that they have taken on us. I know there's this wonderful poem by Charles Bukowski, and he says in this one part, he says, isolation is the gift, and all else is a test of your endurance. And it's true. When we're by ourselves and we're in our own pure energy, what a beautiful thing. What a wonderful thing that can be. And then it's only when we introduce excess energies into us that it then becomes the challenge. It's just like the monks, right? Sure, cool. They're cool. They're sitting out there meditating every day, surrounded by other monks, people who are same high vibe as them. Well, what happens when we need these monks to come out in the real world and spread their wisdom? Well, pretty soon they're going to have to interact with low vibe, and they might not have experienced this before, and it takes a toll. And it's a tricky thing. But had they always been surrounded by it, it wouldn't be so noticeable. Because we just get used, we get comfortable to where it is that we're at. And pretty soon we don't even know. You hear this about people, they get divorced and they're like, I didn't realize until I left how free I feel, how happy I feel. We were talking about this morning. My daughter, when she broke up with one of her boyfriends, and how she left, his house after breaking up, and she just couldn't stop smiling. It was just like all this freedom, all this good feeling. And so sometimes we live our life this way, and we're like, I don't know why I can't smile. I don't know why this, and I don't know why that. And it's because of that. It's because of those subtle energies that we ignored that then have overtaken us, and then we are now those energies, and that's why we feel that way. So in order to not learn the lesson 17 times, if we can pay attention to the subtle energies that are there, it can be a game changer and a lifesaver. I love you guys. This is what I got for you here today. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.